to the laws, to the way that God has revealed for the benefit of all of mankind. So therefore, just as Abraham, and just as Moses, and just as Jesus, Muhammad also taught to believe in one God and submit to Him. If we examine the meaning of the word Islam, then something very interesting takes place. Because the word Islam does not mean, by the way, as you will find George Bush and Tony Blair, they want to teach us about our religion now. It's very kind of them. Mufti Bush and Mufti Blair. Sheikh al-Islam George Bush. Instead of putting president, maybe they can put Sheikh al-Islam now. They say that, he says, Islam, they say, means peace. Islam, they say, means peace. It's nice. Thanks, George. And you know, they will get their usual, you know, Muslim scholars, you know, to come and also tell us that Islam means peace. But in fact, Islam, and even they will say it comes from the word salama, which means peace, but this is not true at all. As anyone who knows the Arabic language and they know the roots of the words, then it is not from salama. Islam does not mean peace. Islam is it is derived from the word istislam. Istislam, which means to submit or to surrender. Islam means actually submission to God. The word Islam means submission to God. Well, it means submission, but in reality submission to what? Submission to God. You see, the word Islam, the name of the religion describes the religion. If you want to know what is your religion about, my religion is Islam, meaning submission to God. And a Muslim is someone who submits themselves to the will of God. And when you read the Quran, you come across something that is both startling and that is beautiful and that brings a sense of relief and peace and tranquility to your heart. Because the Quran is telling mankind, humanity, that all of the prophets taught the same religion. The message of Abraham, the message of Moses, the message of Jesus, the message of Muhammad was in fact one message. They all worshipped the same God. They all called people to worship and believe in the same God. And in fact, they called people to essentially the same religion, the same way of life, the same means of attaining salvation. And that was to believe in God, to worship Him alone, and to submit to His divinely revealed commandments. If you translate that into Arabic, you have the word Islam. So therefore, Abraham himself was a Muslim who taught Islam. And Moses was a Muslim who taught Islam. And Jesus was a Muslim who taught Islam. And Muhammad was a Muslim who taught Islam. And the true followers of all of these religions were Muslims who followed Islam. One God, one religion. They all taught to worship God alone and to submit to Him, and that is what they did themselves, or tried to do themselves. So that God did not reveal different religions and thus cause confusion and conflict In fact, the Creator has only in reality revealed in essence one religion, one means of salvation. But in reality what has happened is that the people have changed and corrupted and distorted that message. The original message and the original teaching of the prophets was one. They were all brothers one to another in the sense that their religion was the same religion. They worshipped the same God and received revelation from the same God. It was the same angel Gabriel who brought the Torah to Moses, who brought the Injil or the Gospel to Jesus, and who brought the Quran to Muhammad. But it is the people who, due to their pride, their greed, their hatred one for another, their love of the world, and their following of their desires, and their speaking about God without knowledge. These are the things that cause them to go astray, to corrupt the message, to corrupt the teachings of the messengers, and to invent for themselves their own religions. Although they ascribe them to God and they ascribe them to the prophets of God, in reality the prophets were free from those things. So therefore, there is no reason in reality for the conflict that we find amongst religions in the world today. At least if people from the so-called monotheistic religions were only to be sincere and to sincerely and honestly examine the teachings of their prophets, to take away the traditions and the cultures and the man-made interpretations, and they were going, if they were only to go to the root, to the essence of what the messengers taught, they will find indeed that the God is one, the message is one, the religion is one. And this is why the Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessings be upon him, he said, the religion of God is like a beautiful building. The religion of God is like a beautiful building. And the people go round this building, but there is one brick that is missing. So the people say, oh, what a beautiful building, but if only this brick was in place. The Prophet ﷺ said, I am that brick. I am the one who has completed that religion, and the religion has been perfected through me. And just as if someone who believes or who believed in Abraham and came to hear about Moses could only be a true believer if he believed in Moses. Because how could you believe in one of God's messengers and reject another? It is the same as rejecting God. It is the same as rejecting God. You cannot pick and choose and say, well, I like this messenger and not that one. No, you must believe in all. So if one was a follower of Abraham and Moses came along, one is obliged to follow Moses. And for those people who claim to follow Moses, then when Isa alayhi salam came and he was indeed the Messiah for the Bani Israel, he was the expected Messiah, then it is obligatory upon them that they must believe in him and not reject him. Because to reject God's chosen messenger is ingratitude and indeed infidelity, disbelief in God. Similarly, every true believer in Isa, in Jesus, every true believer in Moses, every true believer in Abraham must also believe in God's final messenger, Muhammad. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon him. If they are true to their claim that they love God and they are true to their claim that they believe in God, and that they are true to their claim that they want His pleasure and that they want to be saved from His wrath, then how can they reject the messenger that He has sent down for the benefit and for the guidance of all of mankind? We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we ask Allah the Creator to guide ourselves and yourselves closer to the truth. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.